the shift that happened in 2019, 2020, 21, as the weight loss drugs started accelerating, and now to where we are now, and to see how the FDA is playing with it, and now different states are starting to step in. So that's been a huge amplifier of this industry in general.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm sitting here with my good friend, Brad Adatto, who has become a friend throughout colleagues that we have in the industry. As you'll hear in a minute, he and his business partner are prominently known lawyers in the aesthetic arena, med spas, plastic surgeons. Brad, thanks for sitting down with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We've been having a blast hanging out with you and Mike this whole trip.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we got a second to sit down. Let's start out by just having you tell us a little bit about what your firm does, what you focus on.
Yeah, so we are a business law firm, but over the years, we have been really well known for working with plastic surgeons and other aesthetic practices. My background actually is my father is a retired orthopedic surgeon, so we do work with all types of doctors, but it just happens to be, we're at the trade show right now, but a lot of our clients are here, so it's great to be here and getting some time to see them all.
Yeah, it's always productive, and I think the show's been exceptional.
Yeah.
Just last year was great, and I feel like it's built on it even better this year.
Great energy. And compared to even last year, which was beautiful, by the way. Vancouver is amazing, but this has been really special.
Agreed. And you drove in because you and Michael are based in
Dallas, Texas,
right?
But we also have a Chicago office. So our partner, Alex Tiersch, was supposed to be here, but at the last minute, he couldn't make it because I guess driving from Chicago would be too far. I guess he could fly, though, right?
I guess he could. He's probably a little tied up with a little show that he does called the Med Spa Show, right?
The Med Spa Show, yeah.
Coming up in a few weeks. Yeah. Cool. So, this is our podcast. We try to focus on marketing. So a lot of times I ask people about kind of what marketing channels they focus on. I'm actually curious because I'm usually asking industry this question, but you guys are a little bit of a different type of business than we're normally interviewing. How do you go about acquiring new clients or meeting new clients for the most part? What are the sort of the top channels you utilize?
One of the things that we've been blessed with is we're really passionate about education. And a lot of these conferences that are doctor-driven like this have been kind enough to invite us to come speak and trying to give them. So that's one of our platforms of way of reaching out and being at the actual show and educating individuals. And we see that as a long-term marketing play. I always tell people, if you're thinking that showing up and speaking, you're going to get run over with people the next day, it's not that way. The other way is that we spend a lot of time on putting out great content that is important to the industry. So we write a lot of articles. Michael and I started our own podcast, the Legal 123s with ByrdAdatto, several years ago, and that seems to be another way of educating individuals to make sure they're keeping up with what's going on in the industry. And then the last piece is just really just still word of mouth. It's some of our biggest clients come from somebody said, "Hey, I worked with Brad or Michael and really enjoyed that conversation, and you should meet Dr. So and so over here."
Yeah, word of mouth goes a long way. But what I'm hearing is focus on creating value, but then have a long timeline in terms of the expectation of return. Because that's the same for us. We just keep showing up, creating content, being at the conference. I talk to others who say, that conference wasn't great. I didn't get many sales from it. And I go, it's maybe a little bit, you might be thinking about it on too small of a timeline versus just once you're here and you're a figure, which ByrdAdatto most certainly is a figure in the industry. Then people start to, there's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
There's a lot of consistency that goes a long way, right?
Yeah. I always tell people, I gave a speech in San Diego and this gentleman took my card and I never heard from him. And 3 years later, he said, "I'm ready to hire you," and became one of our biggest clients in LA because he wasn't ready at the time to do what he wanted to do, but he knew we were the firm because of that presentation. And that's, you don't know what's going to happen. So that's why it's always a marathon to me. It's not a sprint.
It's a marathon. I agree. I love that story. And by the way, their content is excellent. He mentioned their podcast, their blog, or articles that they put out. And I was just talking to my colleague the other day about what ByrdAdatto puts out is excellent content, super, super valuable. It's like free legal advice, right? And it's so specialized. The fact that you do specialize, we know because we deal with clients in nearly every state in aesthetics, and we know that it's real challenge to keep up with all those rules and regs across all those states. You guys give a lot of value away.
Thank you.
In your content.
And we do that because we want to help the industry in general. And I once had somebody, we wrote several ebooks, and someone said, "You're giving this ebook for free." I said, "Yeah, absolutely. You can do it." He goes, "Well, I can just give this to my own attorney, and you just told us what to do." I said, sure, you can hire the attorney that read my book, or you can hire the attorney that wrote it. It's up to you. By the way, he did hire me.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. Okay. Are there any industry trends you're seeing emerge in 2025 or over the last year or so, good or bad, that are kind of you're keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I mean, so there's just probably two big things that are happening right now. One is just general with the weight loss drugs and the FDA, and for those keeping up, every 5 minutes it changes the rules. So that has been the shift that happened in 2019, 2020, 21 as the weight loss drugs started accelerating, and now to where we are now. And to see how the FDA is playing with it, and now different states are starting to step in. So that's been a huge amplifier of this industry in general. And then the other thing is just keeping up with certain states. As we sit here in the state of Texas is about to introduce a new law that can radically shift how med spa services are being performed. And they have some good reasons as to why they're trying to do it. But so those are the two huge things. And when I say in Texas, I have clients in other states that know about this law because they're worried that if this law passes, it's going to start impacting other states.
It'll set a precedent that other states may adopt.
Correct.
Okay. So reach out to ByrdAdatto to hear more about that. Have you seen I'm curious from your vantage point, if you see AI being utilized either in your business or in the aesthetic space in general, what do you?
Absolutely. I mean, AI is just another tool. It's not going to replace it shouldn't replace your lawyers. It shouldn't replace your doctors. And you have to figure out how to utilize that tool. And I know for us as a firm, we are spending a lot of time and effort understanding. We have a ton of content that we have built over the years and a ton of research. And we're trying to find a way, instead of it being in a matrix that you have to go through, how do I put that into a lockbox of AI that it can help pull that information from us faster? And so that's been a big part of ours. I know with my physician clients, they're either doing it thinking about from a marketing perspective, but they're also thinking about from a patient care perspective of what are the things I can do to replace, Sally or whoever, and have an AI to help generate referrals or bring them in. So it's been very interesting to watch. The one big comment I have for everyone, and no matter if you're a lawyer or a doctor, is remember at the end of the day, you have to be the decision maker. You can't let AI make those decisions.
Yeah, I think it allows people to elevate up to the tasks that are maybe more art than science.
Correct.
And there's a lot of that in law, right?
Yeah.
For better or for worse, that's a factor. There's a lot of that in marketing. There's a lot of that in Sally's job too, right? There's things that it would actually be great if they could be the mundane, repetitive tasks that if they could be taken away.
Absolutely. And we've used that on our own processes in the firm, where we lost an employee because she went off to law school, and we were able to replace her with an AI tool.
Wow.
So her job of scheduling and all the things that took, we were able to get an AI tool that can work with the clients and getting in faster 24/7. So it was a nice way of us to rethink, do we just hire another person, or can we think of something else?
That's awesome. Okay, last question, because I know you're busy. You have people to see here, clients to see. What do you see in the future for the aesthetic space? It's sort of a broad, open-ended question here, but...
So I've been in this space. I mean, I started practicing over 25 years ago, but I've been in this space at these conferences for over a decade now. And it's fascinating to see how much has changed in the accelerant of all the different services that a plastic surgeon or a cosmetic surgeon, depending on how you categorize yourself, have gotten themselves into. Because when I first started practicing, the surgeons were only focused on the invasive side, the surgery itself. And now they're realizing there's this entire avenue of the non-invasive service, the lasers, the Botox, the fillers, and now the weight loss. And I feel like that's just the tip. And each time there's a new technology, how do I utilize that for my patients? So it's been fascinating to watch that growth of the model. I mean, if you could pan around, there are a bunch of different places that didn't exist just a few years ago that are here that people think they need, and they probably do need it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's only going to continue to trend in that direction.
Yeah.
So very cool. Brad, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll let you get on with the rest of the show, and maybe we'll see you at one of the parties tonight or something.
Maybe.
Okay. All right, take care.